is true? What is true? What is true? True is love.
Oh my God. Excuse me. My name is D-Ray, the producer. Who are you?
I am Kelja, the princess goddess, and yes, I know I've been on a hiatus. I had a lot of family issues going on, and they're actually still going on. But I am back. This is actually my outlet, and I actually miss doing this during my trying times. It was a bitch, yes. And yeah, I'll be glad when it's over.
Well, first of all, it's good to see you.
Can you
I
see
don't know
me?
what kind of ghost effect you got going on over there, but I can know by the voice. I know who I'm talking to.
So I have no idea what's going on with this. I get this glare and then it goes away, and then it comes back and then it goes away. I have no idea what's going on.
It's your inner essence. We'll just call it that.
Well, yes.
So it is great to see you. It is great to be on Truth, Honesty, and Transparency. See, I got the name right. I knew you was going to think that I was going to mess the name up. But glad to be back this evening. So what are we going to talk about tonight?
So tonight's topic is emotional intelligence. And you need to ask yourself, do you have it? Because there are 5 elements to it. And as we get into the show, what we're going to do is break down each element and we're going to talk amongst ourselves. But with that being said, you know what you do best. Please tell us the definition of emotional intelligence. But before we get into that, hold on. I realized that, see how it goes and comes and comes. There it is. It's back again. I've read before we actually got into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did I inspire that disclaimer?
I will neither confirm or deny that.
I know.
But let's just say that it was for the better good.
For the shits and giggles.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Okay, but
I will neither confirm or deny that something had to be done.
Yeah, so go ahead and proceed with the definition of emotional intelligence. You damn right we're here.
No.
8 and 1 with that bullshit 6 and 2. Yeah, go ahead.
See, we weren't even gonna bring this up tonight. Now I know who we're dealing with. So if we're talking about what is emotional intelligence, well, emotional intelligence is a skill that refers to one's ability to understand, process, and express one's feelings, as well as recognize and be able to engage with the feelings of others. Emotional intelligence is a skill that can be improved, but more than learning about it, it requires to be trained by practicing. This is why, never mind. Yeah, that's enough.
This is why what? Go ahead.
That was a different paragraph that was leading somewhere that I didn't want to go. So
why? Did you
I read too much. It was part of the other thing. But you got the definition.
Okay, so with that being said, the 5 elements, we're going to talk about the first one, which is self-awareness. Do you believe that you are self-aware?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, and it's like recognizing and understanding your emotions and how your emotions affect others.
You know, that's a problem. That's a problem for a lot of people because for whatever reason, for whatever influences on a person's life, it may take some time for you to become self-aware. Now, there are some people who know out the gate who they are what they're about, what they like, what they don't like. But then there are other people, if you want to call them late bloomers, whatever you want to call them, they don't really find out who they are until later in life. And then there are some people who unfortunately die without never knowing who they are.
Is it because they just didn't want to do the work? Because the thing of it is that if you have a solid and good group of people that's not going to sugarcoat and bullshit you, they will make you self-aware. You will be forced to become self-aware.
That's true, but you know what? People don't have a Kelja, the princess goddess, in their group a lot of times. Because honestly, if you don't know yourself, if you're not self-aware, or if you're self-aware and you feel intimidated because you think people might not like the real you, you may be tempted to surround yourself with a lot of yes people. Now, here's the problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
When you run up on a Kelja or a D-rated producer and you get told about yourself with no filter, then now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now we're the bad guys.
I'm okay with being the bad guy. Like, seriously, I'm okay with being the bad guy. I've told people that before. If you need me to be the bad guy to make you feel okay or to keep you even, then so fuck it, I'll be there. It's okay, because I'm used to playing the villain. But with that being said, that still doesn't mean that you're gonna walk away a better person. You still for shit. Me being the villain is fine, but I know who I am, and you're shit. You'll continue to be shit because they refuse to do the work.
Facts. And that's one of the things that I think when you are dealing with people, whether you are dealing them on a personal level, on a professional level, wherever, you have to have somebody that's going to be brutally honest, especially in the business that, entertainment, whatever the case may be. I don't want a lot of people just saying, oh, that sounds good, or oh, that's a great idea. I want people to tell me, oh, no, Negro, that sucks.
Oh, no,
please don't do that.
I would tell you, I don't know what pots and sticks you were banging on when you produced. How were you?
You'll just mess around and give somebody a one sentence answer and then just leave the composer there wondering about himself and ready to go jump off a cliff. Oh, I'm so sorry that slipped out. That was a little bit of my personal business.
Like, did you like this? Fuck no. I sure didn't. Fuck no.
But a lot of times with self-awareness, it's like, you say, do people want to put in the work? Okay, we'll grant it. There are a lot of people that don't want to put in the work. However, there are also a lot of people who have large and imposing influences on their lives or shadows that they just can't get out, get out up beneath that, they don't know who they are until that person is no longer in their lives. So it could be an abusive spouse. It could be an overbearing sibling. It could be a controlling parent. You know what I mean? That for whatever reason, your flower will not grow until that shadow is removed. And
well, I guess you're right to some sense, but also, I don't know, I guess at an early age, I was somewhat forced to find out, my strengths and weaknesses, my values and moral compass, because I don't know if you call it a latchkey kid, but when I would come home at the age of 6, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way up, nobody was there.
You know what? Let's see. Let me do the math real quick. Okay, statute of limitations is out, so we don't want you dry snitching on nobody and getting no knocks on the door.
No, but anyway, nobody was there, so I had to learn to cook for myself. And in that, me finding myself at an early age, knowing that following the rules really it just wasn't my thing. Right. Now, the thing of it is it's not the fact that I wouldn't follow the rules. What I listen for is not what you said, it's the things that you didn't say.
Absolutely.
is what I used to look for. So the little loopholes and things. So that's why, and I still do that to this day. Let's just get it right. If you tell me no, I'm be like, so you just mean not right now, not ever, but just not right now.
I see what kind of kid you were. You were that worst little kid to be like, like whatever, the spirit, the universe, something gonna have to tap me on my shoulder. It's like, you might want to go home and check on that little Kelton because you just don't.
Actually, no. So when I was a kid, I literally used to take a pencil and pen around. So if you told me you was going to do something on this day, then you had to sign the bottom line to keep your damn promise to me.
Oh
or
my God. You issuing contracts oh my God.
Yes, because, or you need to tell me we need to reschedule. That needed to be a conversation.
Oh Lord. Oh wow.
But one thing about self-awareness is your strengths can be honed, but your weaknesses can be built upon. And I don't think too many people understand that. At this point in time, like even at work today, I had a one-on-one with the senior VP, and she was literally telling me, because my communication is straight and direct and to the point. You ask me something, I'm going to give you the answer, period. And she was like, you could elaborate more, because people take that as you being short and not understanding via email that you just answered their question. So now I'm having to pacify. You talk more than what I want.
We're gonna put a pin. We're gonna put a pin in there and come back to that because we're gonna come back to that one.
Okay, so the second one is self-regulation. And that is once you mastered your emotional awareness. This is when you're able to temper the room or gauge a situation to see if it warrants a response. And if it does, what level of response does it warrant? So you're not stressing yourself out, or you're not projecting misplaced frustrations and anger onto someone else.
If you become a Jedi at this, if you become a master at this, you can aggravate immature people to no end. Because I know people who intentionally do things, intentionally say things for attention, for reaction, and these are not, teenagers or children. We're talking about people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that have learned all their lives is that the loudest baby is the one with the attention. So they do things to get attention. And so if you're self-regulated enough to know that, okay, they just want attention and I'm just not going to respond to that. Well, now you're the master of that conversation, and it just drives them nuts.
Oh, it does. Especially when you're so nonchalant about it and someone is saying something. I'm like, okay, sure. Whatever you say, you have it. And that seems to piss them off more because they're not getting a reaction out of me.
Facts.
Now, mind you, I've never been one to have emotional outbursts often, but I've learned.
Wait a minute. What? Wait. What did you just say?
I don't have emotional outbursts often. I say what I'm gonna say. That's not an emotional outburst. What are you talking about? I'm listening. Explain that. You're looking at me like I just told the damn lie.
I'm just trying to understand. Who is this, and what have you done with Kelja?
No, but that's the thing. Just because I speak my mind, that's not an emotional outburst. I don't care about enough shit to have emotional outbursts. Like, in order for someone to tap into my feelings, I have to care about you. You literally have to matter. If you don't, then it's just like, fuck that. It's just whatever you want to do. If you want to make a fool out of yourself, be my guest. I'm not going to do it. So that's when I mean that. The only way you can get something out of me is if I actually care about it. And it's going to be stern and it's going to be rough. But it is what it is. But I'm not going to raise my voice to a level. It may go up an octave because I'm passionate about it. But it's not going to be to the point to where I'm yelling. Because I already have a low register projecting voice. And I had to tell someone this. Like, if I go up an octave, somebody thinks I'm yelling. However, if I was truly yelling, you would know it. You would know. So yes, that self-regulation, it matters. Staying calm in tense situations or stressful situations, that matters. It tells you a lot about someone being
Right.
calm in situations. I just, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And honestly, that now that you said that, I was really being facetious when I brought that up, but I can see how someone would misinterpret your whatever you're saying, whether you go up an octave or go up in volume. Someone would mistake that for an emotional outburst, and it's just, it's just Kelja making sure she's heard.
That's it. It's a matter of fact type of thing. Now, you're
Right.
gonna hear me. It's kind of hard not to, but you
Right.
will hear me.
No
Period.
doubt.
Especially if I want to be heard. And
I
what about
believe
you
that.
and self-regulations?
Say that again. Me?
Yes, you.
Something. Oh yeah, you got to tap. Because if you are an overly empathetic person, which in the past I have been, I have in my, me just turning 50, I'm at the point now that I know that there are certain things that I'm just not going to respond to, because I know the road that's going to go down. And unlike you, when I go nuclear, people don't think it's cute. People want to call SWAT on me. So I know to just not do that. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, my level of nuclear is silent. You won't know until the shit hits you. I just look there and I say, okay, I say what I need to say. If I believe it's been dragged out too long, I cut it off. I've already said what I said, and I'm not changing my mind.
Right.
However, if you do something egregious enough, then yeah, you won't even see me coming. It just happened.
Oh God.
Yeah, my nuclear is silent. I'm not an atomic bomb. I am a deadly nerve agent. A fucking deadly ass gas. Don't do that. You feel me? You don't
shouldn't.
feel me.
You shouldn't even say that to me, because you know me. I'm gonna have all kind of anthrax jokes later, but no, I can actually see that.
Okay.
And I think a lot of times, though, before we move on, if I'm going nuclear, that's my way of stopping whoever this is that's getting too close. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be to the point that I'm silent. Because by the time that I'm silent, I'm listening to voices that's going to get me in prison. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I go nuclear, it is my last ditch effort to get you off this road before something else happens.
This path of destruction. But I'm silent before. It's like you really and truly have to be, like, I have to be tethered and connected to you to get a true emotional outburst. Like, you're loud nuclear before you go silent for the kill. Like, you literally have to be tethered to me. Like, I literally have to care deeply for you to get that. Because other than that, I don't give two shits about shit. It's just too much stuff that I could focus my time and effort on. And people's emotions is not I don't have time to consider everybody's emotional depth. It takes too much out of you. But I will do it to a respect level. I won't disrespect you until you get disrespected.
Right. That's fair. So what we got next?
The next one is motivation.
Now, I'm curious as to what is the context of motivation within this.
Okay, so motivation is about your drive to improve and achieve, setting high standards for yourself and working consistently towards your goal. Take the initiative, be ready to act on opportunities as they come along, and practice being assertive. Motivation is about optimism, resiliency, and finding the positive in any situation, especially those that don't go well. So I guess it being let down can trigger the level of emotional intelligence that you have. Some people let things go. Some people retreat within. Some people blow up. And those people, I feel, are the entitled people that believe that they deserve this thing without putting in the work. So either, I mean, if I go into an interview and I don't get it, then I'm just looking at things as what did I do wrong? Or I've even went to the point of emailing the interview and asking them what elements, could I work on to be better? Now I knock every interview out of the water to my perspective. I do, because I can take any type of feedback that is going to contribute to my growth. Now, bullshit, I don't care. I'm self-aware enough to know if someone is telling me something that I've done, if that is truly part of my characteristic. And I know when you're projecting something.
Right.
So,
right. As you was reading that definition, I was thinking about, when you are setting out to accomplish something, and, the old saying, beware the company that you keep, because if you look at, I'm a big fan of National Geographic and the Discovery Channel. You ever watch animals that hunt? Lionesses, when they hunt with other lionesses, right? They hunt the pride. The pride goes out, and the pride is going to eat. Why? Because everybody got the same goal, the same ability. Well, varying states of ability, but everybody got the same goal and the potential. When eagles hunt with, you know what I'm saying? Eagles may have a mate, or they may have whatever, but eagles know where to go with eagles. Eagles don't follow pigeons. Eagles don't hunt.
Which is the reason why I don't consort with Cowboy fans, because they're pigeons. Yeah.
On this, we can agree. But you got to be careful about especially like if you are an entrepreneur, and that's what I was going to circle back to. That when I said I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to that, because a lot of times, if you own the platform, if you own the job, then you ain't got to temper how you sound to nobody, because it's yours. And you know what I'm saying? And you can be as direct or be whatever if you own that platform. However, as you are growing it, you got to be careful of who you're growing with. And because, wrong advice at the wrong time, that could be a problem.
No, and that can be detrimental, not just a problem. It can be detrimental to your direction, your brand, and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because one false move, for instance, I'm going to take my fellow Gemini Kanye West.
Oh, Lord.
The emotional intelligence there is because he believed that he's so big. He felt that he was untouchable. Nothing can touch him. So you just want to spew all types of shit out your mouth.
Right.
The conversations that you have in private should not always be made public. So if you didn't like a certain demographic, religion, background, that is fine. That is your prerogative. You can hold that dear. However, what you fail to realize is that you are isolating a part of not only your fan base, but your marketing demographic.
Right.
And you don't know who's sitting in those chairman seats or board seats that make the decision to bring you on. You don't know who's sitting at the head of a bank to actually give you money. I'm not saying what he said held merit or not. But what I'm saying is watch your damn tongue when you are doing certain things and trying to make moves. Until he literally became his own entity, had his own design. Didn't need Adidas to build him a manufacturer company in Wyoming. When you can make moves and be your own conglomerate, then you can just start saying whatever the hell you want to. I mean, dumbass does it all the time. My other stupid Gemini, Trump does it all the time. Why? Because he really doesn't need other shit. So he can be as stupid as he wants to be.
Very true.
And be okay with being stupid, because when he goes home, what he realizes that his dad started Trump Enterprises and gave him all of the leverage and moves. So now when he walks into a room, he's the one that is negotiating the terms of agreement, and either they get on board or he leaves them behind. Kanye didn't have that level of leverage and maneuverability. He didn't have that. So now his ass is sitting, looks stupid, steady saying, continuously saying stupid shit.
Right.
Until you are completely blackballed, I mean, they have taken him off Instagram. So we can say and be for a damn fact that he doesn't have emotional intelligence. His shit is the -4. He is Forrest Gump level. When it
You
comes
know, yeah, you're right. And a lot of times, the thing about Kanye, and I have said this repeatedly on different podcasts on Blast, that I'm kind of done with talking about Kanye. But in this particular context, we cannot continue to use the excuse of his mama passing away because his mama's been gone. No, I'm talking about other people, not you.
Mama been gone for over 10 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's 15.
2007?
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah.
So at this point, you can't just say that the loss of his mama is the root cause of what the things that he says. He is his own person now. And I honestly, I think Kanye is a perfect example of what happens when you surround yourself with a bunch of yes men. Kanye has nobody to sit there. Well, I take that back because I've seen his cousin do this a couple of times. He has a female cousin that I think he listens to from time to time, but he doesn't really have a lot of people that can sit down and just say, Kanye, shut up.
But not only that, the people that were doing that, he's distancing himself from Jay-Z and whomever else that was around him. And it shouldn't have to take your mom to control and temper who the fuck you are as a man. It shouldn't take your mommy. And you can't, if that is still bothering you, boy, go lay on somebody's fucking couch.
Yeah.
And spew that shit that way. But you have tarnished who you are and what you are. And it's a damn shame that people have to break it down between old Kanye and this person, this version of who you are. Because to me, you're not evolving, you're regressing. Not saying that some of the things that you have said didn't have merit, but it's your delivery. Do better. And yeah, I'm tired of talking about him because it's the difference between Big Luther and Little Luther. The music just wasn't the song.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, and Kanye to me is a perfect example of that. Kyrie is another one, but we don't have to go down that road.
But see, okay, so with Kyrie, he has a little emotional intelligence, a little bit, because although he promoted things, he wasn't as boisterous and irate as Kanye. Even though the consequences, and that's another thing, what I don't like, and it's kind of drifting off just a little bit, is why do we get, when we make mistakes, and yes, we are going to because we're human, we're very much so fallible, but when we make mistakes, we don't get the same level of grace as the alabaster people.
Oh, no. We never will. We literally never will. And it's the example of what's going on in the NFL right now. If you take a black coach in the NFL, that black coach may be coming in trying to rescue a program, they might get 1 or 2 seasons to turn it around, and then they out of there. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, the alabaster people can be there for years upon years upon years.
Fucking
basically. So
no, because hey,
ladies in the building. Say
how
hi,
are
Blast
you?
Fam. What's good? Yeah, so I don't know. I think that has to do with not being seen as human beings a lot of times. Still, even after 400, almost 500 years of being in this country and being on this continent, a lot of us are not seen as human beings. We're not seen. We're not given the freedom to be
here. Yeah. They're not from here either.
Right. Well, but
they're mutant asses. Anyway, we're gonna go the next.
No, wait. It's time for the Blast Artist of the Week before we have to do another disclaimer. Our Blast Artist of the Week is my boy Jay Sa, and he has a track called Batty Batty. Blast Music 247.
Do we have any more?
Do we what?
Have any more artists? Are we still live? Are we still live?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Paving this shit crank. Ooh-wee. And look at that thing right there, boy. Boy, that thing right there looking right. It's your boy, Jay Sa. She's a baddie baddie. When she hit the stove, she's a baddie baddie. From head to toe, she a baddie baddie. She achieves her goals. She don't need nobody. She don't dig for gold. She's a baddie baddie. When she hit the stove, she's a baddie baddie. From head to toe, she a baddie baddie. She achieves her goals. She don't need nobody. She don't dig for gold. Miss Independent, to me that's a baddie. She got a couple businesses up on her like that fatty. Intelligence, to me that's a baddie. When she's out and making money move, she's back to daddy. And she tatted from the hood, but she don't act it. When she in the streets, she classy. In the bedroom, she get nasty. No man, a sucker smack and love it when she arch that back, man. From the back, I eat like Batman, then jump in, I beat it back, man. I don't know how to act, man. You independent, beautiful. Nails down to the cuticles, hair down to your booty. Ooh, you must be a stripper. First time I looked at you, but license plate says CEO. I gotta have a look at you. She's a baddie baddie. When she hit the stove, she's a baddie baddie. From head to toe, she a baddie baddie. She achieves her goals. She don't need nobody. She don't dig for gold. You a single mother? This what makes you a baddie. You pay your bills, clothe the kids. No help from daddy. Ambitious. This what makes you a baddie. A day go by, you make no money. You round here acting tragic. Your bank account is looking right, but yeah, you acting manic. You said you're never going back to bank accounts with dashes. You really round here stomping temper tantrum, crying out lashes. I tell you, calm that ass down. Come here, baddie, baddie. I look her all up in her eyes. She's a Mr. Daddy. I kiss her on her lips, I pull her closer, gripping fatty. Now don't trip, I'm making moves like running around with baggies. Now turn that thing around, let me make you happy. And this the type of shit I'm looking for, might get a ring. Love and happiness, positive energy is what she brings. The only time we fight, if she take my chicken wing. Until you truly are a queen is when you find yourself a king. She's a baddie baddie. When she hit the stove, she's a baddie baddie. From head to toe, she a baddie baddie. She achieves her goals. She don't need nobody. She don't dig for gold. She's a baddie baddie. When she hit the stove, she's a baddie baddie. From head to toe, she a baddie baddie. She achieves her goals. She don't need nobody. She don't dig for gold.
And that was Jay Saw with Baddie Baddie. He is one of many artists from blastmusic247.com. And if you are a independent rapper, singer, spoken word artist, or hey, even a stand-up comedian, go to www.blastmusic247.com, fill out a free profile, and let's get your art to the world. Blastmusic247.com, changing the industry one artist at a time. And we are back.
Yes.
Kilja, the princess goddess.
So guess what?
What?
Guess what? I'm going to do
listening.
an open mic and flex my comedic timing.
When?
I am not. Boy, you know good and hell well I'm
That's what I said. When?
You know I would never. Never.
I think you would. Couple of drinks, and I bet you got a good little stand-up routine.
Okay. I have somebody else write for me. Yeah. A ghostwriter. And I'm like, okay, so how you supposed to time this? Man, everybody don't catch my delivery. I have dark humor. Okay. So
Well, we got some comedians in the camp, so we can make that happen.
So the next one, back to emotional intelligence and the 5 elements. The last one.
This next one is gonna be a whammy. Boy,
the next one is empathy. A key intrapersonal skill. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, which I don't ever want to put myself in anybody else's shoes. What if their shoes are old and stinky? And see the situation from their perspective, as well as having an awareness of others' feelings. It's important to acknowledge and respond to them, even if you don't agree with them.
Right.
I can just not say shit. They'll know I don't agree with them, but my level of empathy is my empathy towards people have to be warranted. Meaning,
give me an example of that.
Okay, if things that are beyond your control, a changing variable that you did not see coming, or you probably did, but you had no control over it. Illnesses, sickness, death, layoffs, house burning down, things like that, you garnish all the empathy for me in the world. However, pause for effect. If you know you have bills and everyone has bills unless you are freeloading off someone, and you decide to go out and blow all your damn money from me to you, you just made a conscious adult decision to be homeless. Because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, because we're all adults and we know what our responsibilities and where our priorities should lie. Which is the reason why, as adults that are adulting correctly, for things like that, we have different categories and funds for those. I call mine my discretionary fund, but I have an emergency fund, and I have my bill money, I have my shopping money. I have categories for where my money needs to be allocated, plus saving as well and investing. Right. So yeah, my empathy doesn't do that. If you kill someone, I don't feel sorry for your ass for going to jail and possibly getting the death penalty.
Well, it depends on why you killed them.
Unless it was an act of self-defense. Now, if every dumb or depraved type shit, some Ted Bundy stuff, I don't feel sorry for anyone that molested a child. No, thank you. I do not feel sorry for whatever the hell you get. Right.
Now, I hope the people out there in true honesty and blast land don't hold me accountable and judge me, because I'm about to expose some truth and transparency. Okay. I don't have empathy for people who stand on the side of the street with the "I am homeless, give me money" sign. And so let me tell you why. There was a time where I didn't have a car, and I'm also a musician. So there would be times that I would have to struggle to get all of my equipment, and I'm riding a bus. I'm trying to, I'm out here hustling. I'm trying to do my thing, right? And I remember it was a certain part where the city went, and these people got on, and they had been out there with a sign all day, homeless, and give me this, give me that. So apparently I was on the bus where they all convened, and all of them was counting up their money of what they got that day. And they were still counting after they got to 1,000. And I'm sitting to myself like, really? I'm out here grinding. Got a job. I'm up here trying to make these demos. I'm trying to make this happen. And y'all are out here just sitting with a sign all day. That's your job. So as of that, at that point, which was about maybe almost 20 years ago, I see people with the sign. I just don't do it. And my wife will look and say, "Oh, you think we should give them something?" And I say, "No, not so much as because I'm being cold and heartless, but because I know that if you're really struggling, I know where you can go. We have food banks. We have homeless shelters. We have, there are services, there are programs, there are some things that require, all it requires is you to show up and say you need some help. But to just sit there and just stand there with the sign, no empathy at all."
Yeah, so I don't give them money. I will give them food. Like when I used to but when I was doing a project in Jackson, Mississippi, on my way to go and to go to work, I used to have to pass this off ramp and do a loop-de-loop to get back on the service road. Well, there was a homeless man that was there, or he said that he was homeless. But the hotel that I was staying in, I could literally eat a plate because it was a buffet and then get a plate to go. So I made sure that I got waters and juices and made him a nice plate with some fruit and everything and took it to him.
Right.
And then if I would go get me something to eat for lunch, let's just say I may go get me some lunch meat and make me a sandwich and chips and stuff. I will make sure I grab him some stuff too. So I will feed you before I give you my money. And he only got breakfast and lunch because I wasn't coming out at dinner time. But I did that when I was there for like 2 months. And I'm pretty sure he's missing me now because before I was leaving, I got like 2 cases of water, like some bread and all that other stuff. So as I said, I don't know their story, but I can feed you. But I'll be damned if you're sitting in the alleyway counting my $20 that I just gave you as part of your $2,000.
I mean, for real. And the thing is, it's like it's a difference if something just happened to you. You get what I mean? Like you got a hurricane that just came in, or some natural disaster. I've been a part of benefit concerts where a storm has gone through and people lost everything. That's not what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about people who are mentally ill either. Because I happen to live in a city where there's a veterans hospital. And so there are a lot of people who, because of mental illness, choose to live by them, live on the street. That ain't what I'm talking about either. I'm talking about the people who willingly manipulate people's hearts. And, and it's situations like that cause you to not have empathy. At some point the needle gets moved to indifference and not caring anymore. So, I mean, similarly to what you're doing, looking down at the phone while I'm talking and not having eye contact.
No, but I'm listening to you, and I understand how your empathy can be played on and taken advantage of.
Right.
Just because you have a heart, and people use your kindness and willingness to help as a weakness. That makes you indifferent, and that makes you want to say, just fuck it all. I'm not doing that.
Basically.
Okay. Basically. So the last one is something that I do have when I put forth an effort.
Oh, boy.
Social skills.
Oh, wow. Now, in what context is this? Ought to be interesting for the last 20 minutes. What context do social skills play in emotional intelligence? So, often described as a people's person. Those who are socially skilled are inept or not inept. Adept at dealing with others. They are trustworthy team players. Who the hell said that? It doesn't mean that person to be is trustworthy or a team player, because I know plenty of people that get in the mix just to get what they want. Now, does that make them manipulative because they have manipulative social skills, or does that make them trustworthy and a team player? I don't know who the hell came up with this, but that's bullshit stuff. Okay, team players, confident communicators, good at listening to others as they are speaking. As they are at speaking themselves. Okay, and yes, again, I could be listening to everything that you're saying, trying to find an opening where I can get in to take advantage of you. So I'm understanding what is social skills. Like I say, some people can be socially skilled at manipulating. Very true.
So yeah.
But then again, I think it's and feel free to push back. I think it may be the way that we handle when we see it. It's the ability to maneuver without self-destructing, without losing control. Because we can recognize when someone is being manipulative, or when they're being a brown nose, or when they're trying to kiss up to the boss, or all that other stuff. But how we react to it in a social setting may be what they're talking about as it pertains to being emotionally intelligent.
Nope, because I'm going to go to the second part of this bullshit. The second part is they also make great leaders, inspiring and motivating colleagues, manage change, resolving conflict effectively, and giving praise when it's due. That's not, because I've seen ass kisses in my organization. Now, my thing of it is for me, I do the latter part because I want my team to be successful, and my team is only as successful as the tools that are provided by their leader.
Facts.
So that has nothing to do with damn social skills, because I've seen people do just enough to get by or just enough to get promoted and then get in that position and are crappy leaders. However, they're great at communicating and they're great at conversing, but they're not doing anything. They don't motivate you to do better. They motivate you to kick their ass. So I just don't agree with that social skills part of it. I just don't agree, because I'm not understanding where that emotional intelligence come from. And I would agree with you to the point of when you spot it, either coming at you directly or indirectly, it's how you respond to it. But that's not what this bullshit said.
Right.
It says that a well-skilled person has emotional intelligence, but that's not true. A well-socialized person. I've seen people that's well-socialized that act a fool, and you don't want them going any damn where with you.
Right.
So that's kind of contradictory to me. Or it has no place there.
Right. I think the way that they described it doesn't make a lot of sense in this context. But I could see the relevance in adding social skills simply by, what is your home training? Do you know how to act in public? Do you know how to act in different environments? Is it, you've been in, I don't know if you've been in convenience stores. I've been in convenience stores when people done flipped out over the smallest thing. And, it's just like, hey, we don't have any Newports in today, or we got them in.
No Newport.
Exactly. You don't tell me. Exactly. That type of thing.
I just told you.
That
and
display.
After that, guess what? We're still not going to have any fucking Newports. So, food.
But that's fine. But what that's showing, though, is that person lacks emotional intelligence, because you flipping out over something that is beyond someone else's control. And you're doing it in a public setting. So I can see it within that context. Yeah.
I don't see it. I mean, like I say, I see it there. How you carry and conduct yourself to elements that's beyond your control in a social setting that will constitute and contribute to an emotional intelligence. But the way that they're putting it, it's bullshit.
Yeah, because you think about this. Like, you think about you brought up Orange Cheeto earlier.
Donald.
Yeah.
Orangutan. The orangutan.
People refer to him as a good leader. I don't see how they see it. And
what? Leading us straight to hell.
And so, but people refer to him as a leader, as a good leader, and they refer to him as someone who is emotionally intelligent. I just don't see that.
Donald Trump has the emotional intelligence of a zygote.
That is a soundbite. We're gonna use that later. And that is a fact.
I mean, literally, he is so underdeveloped. He is so undeveloped as a human being, and his emotions doesn't even play a factor. He is literally an insolent, belligerent child.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, given these 5 things, do you think that money, power, and influence can
override,
warp, or in most cases pervert these 5 things? Because if you look at Trump, it is clear that him having privilege and money and power for all these years has clearly clouded his judgment.
But not only that, it's not having money and power for years. It started because he had money way before that. We're
Right.
talking about from a kid where your parents and others around you made excuses for you based on your dad and what your dad was to the community. So his delusion level as growing up was already warped. He was so far removed and escaped from reality that his emotional intelligence, he wasn't forced or allowed or expected to develop it because the way he acts out, and you can't tell him anything. And anyone that said shit like, I know it and you know it, no shit. If I knew, I wouldn't be asking you. So he best be glad that I wasn't in journalism at that time. If any time I ever wanted to be in front of a mic to ask questions, it would have been when he was a president, because all that shit he tried to scapegoat and make excuses of, he would have got it out, and then I would have told him that, thank you so much for that bullshit, but that's not what I asked you.
Right. Now,
but
you would have been escorted out. You would have been banned.
That's fine. That's fine, but it would have already been on record that I challenged him where everyone else made excuses for him because of the office that he held. And my thing of it, he was a piss poor president. He can run a company into the ground, and he almost did. And I'm not saying America isn't a business, because that is what it is. It's capital. It's a capitalistic country.
Right.
So it is a business. However, when you're doing a business model, you at least let a few people come up. You don't keep it at the top. You just don't do that. But yes, because of who his dad was, he never had a chance or was not expected to be better. And emotional intelligence comes when someone puts a level of expectations and standards on you that you either meet or they're going to kick your ass out. And for me, there was an expectation in my family to be a good person. However, to make my own decisions. Don't be a yes person. However, you treat people with a level of respect upon entry and upon meeting them. But as soon as they disrespect you, they didn't tell me to match it, but I had choices. Either I can tell your ass off, depending on the level of flagrancy, or I could just walk away. And it's lucky for a lot of people, I've chosen the latter, to just walk away, because my energy can be spent elsewhere. But as you said, not only that, but he also uses his money as a diversion.
Right. What was crazy to me with these past midterm elections, he literally said, if the candidates that I endorse win, I want all the credit. If they lose, I don't want any of the blame.
See, that's the thing. He's always been that type of person.
Facts.
Congratulate when I'm good, even though it's not your race and it's not your feet. Like, you didn't do shit. All you did said is, I'm backing that damn person. And so you want them to say that Donald Trump called it. He said this person would get in, but it's not about you. See, that's another thing. That's another sign of emotional deficiency, defectiveness.
Right.
Illiteracy. There it is. Emotional illiteracy.
Right. I like it.
Is when you literally have to be recognized and make everything about you when nothing is about you. Even when you was fucking running the country, it wasn't about you. It was about the people.
Right.
Or Congress.
Should be.
Let's say it's about the Congress, because it's never been about the people. Let me I stand corrected on that shit. Yeah, I'm okay with being wrong.
But you know what? Real talk though, like, if you're gonna compare, we're not gonna get into Democratic or Republican. We're not gonna get into that. But just to compare Donald Trump to like George Bush, right? One of the differences,
Dumb Bush too.
I'm gonna go with Junior. I'm gonna go with W.
You were going with Dumb Bush 1. Dumb Bush 2.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going with W. The difference between them two, because it could be argued that they both have the same intellectual level of understanding. However, W had at least the intelligence enough to surround himself with people who were experts in their field, and more importantly, they had the clout to tell him no.
But not only that, this is the key there, because you can surround yourself with all those people like Trump did. The thing that separates them is that Dumb Bush too listened.
Right.
He listened. Whereas this goofy orangutan listens to no one but that goddamn kaleidoscope and Ferris wheel in his goddamn head.
You know what? And if you think about it, like there's the real famous video of George Bush reading to the kids in kindergarten, and then his Secret Service comes in and whispers that America's under attack on 9/11. I wonder how Trump would have reacted in that same situation.
He wouldn't have had the gumption to at least get through that.
Right.
To not panic anyone. You saw, okay, so it's no different.
Right.
You saw the way that Obama announced the killing of Osama bin Laden versus how Trump did it. It was a violent effort and I was at the head. It's like you have to be, but only someone that lacks self-confidence and lacks the self-image and self-love always have to be in the forefront. They must be recognized. They don't know how to be in the background. Your fat ass didn't go any fucking where. You were sipping Diet Coke and eating Kentucky Fried Chicken while the Navy SEAL were literally risking their lives because they didn't know what the hell was in wherever the hell they found that in that cave. They had no idea what the hell was in there. But you sitting on your fat ass sipping Diet Cokes and eating fucking Egg McMuffins and KFC. It's like I don't get him. I don't. It's like, so have you ever heard of a cultural index?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did one, and you know what the letters mean, right?
Yeah.
So A is for autonomy, B is your communication skills, C is your patience, and D is your quality of work.
Right.
So we kind of did a mock one for Donald Trump. Do you know this asshole was so far to the left on autonomy because he doesn't listen to anything. He wants everything to be his. His communication is poor, so all that stuff was so far on. Okay, so I take it back. His autonomy was so far on the right. His everything else, the quality of his work, his patience and communication was so far on the fucking left. It's like he had a straight line going down as a daredevil. He will risk it all and then blame everybody else because it didn't happen the way that it should have happened. The way his goofy Jello mush brain thought that shit out.
You know, well, circling back real quick to something that you said, I have always wanted a situation where I can stroll up like Obama strolled up to announce that and then strolled away like he did. I'm looking forward to a day where I could do that because that was the smoothest walk I had ever seen.
Well, him and Denzel Washington Walker kind of the
same. Yeah, it's like that stride. But yeah, you're right. I think and we have to be very, very cautious when we are engaged with people who are emotionally unstable and we got to be real careful because they can cause some serious problems. I mean, they can cause some serious, like for example, where they were talking about, exactly. You know,
they were talking about what?
I was gonna say they were talking about the January 6th Senate hearings, the insurrection, and how had it not been for the driver of his car saying, "No, I'm not taking you to the Capitol," right? It could have been far worse. It could have been far worse.
So I didn't heard, but it's okay. So the driver had the wherewithal to tell them "fuck no,"
and it was a black driver, by the way.
Oh, had the wherewithal to tell them no. However, who was the goofy Daffy Duck who told them to come there in the first place? See, that's the helm of their goddamn Titanic of a ship.
Right.
Anyway, emotional intelligence is important for everyone. For all the reasons that we described, that we are talked about here, for literally motivation within yourself, self-awareness, and especially self-regulation. These are key things that we need to look within and to gauge, do we have that? And if we don't, then we need to find how to get it. It matters in the world. It matters when you are one with yourself, and it matters when you are in company of others. Thank you so much for tuning in of another episode of Truth, Honesty, and Transparency. I am Kelja, the Princess Goddess, and you are
D-Ray, the producer.
D-Ray, the producer, and we so much thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
What is true? What is true? What is true? Truth is love.